this is my office, this is what I do, and spend as much time outside as possible. You know, this is the first big snow of the year, so fish are probably going to be a little sluggish themselves. So right now we're just rigging up. This is really all I need, no tie. You know, I generally don't even like to wear shoes, but it's cold today.
You know, this natural world is my office, and, you know, the fly rod is my briefcase. And I tell people all the time, if I had all the money in the world, I would do what I do right now.
I'm Oliver White, and I'm one of the lucky ones who gets to make a living doing what I love. And for me, that's fly fishing.
I tell people often, man, I'm very rich in a non-monetary sense, right? Man, I'm very lifestyle rich, and I get to meet incredible people, and I get to go on incredible ventures, and I make a living fishing, but you know, it's juggling lots of things. You know, I write for magazines, I do films, I have endorsements and sponsorships, I guide, I host travel. Together, you know, I piece together this living all tied to fishing. And for me, that was the right path, without a doubt.
I got into fly fishing when I broke my back. I had a skiing accident when I was in college, and during that recovery process is really when I became passionate about fly fishing. It was just the getting outside and kind of putting yourself in a better mental place. You know, there's something about the rhythm part of casting that really is kind of medicinal. That accident changed a lot of things. It put life in perspective of how quickly it could be taken away, and also things that mattered. As I was healing up, you know, I got back to school, and my intention in undergrad was always to go be an attorney. But it was really kind of in that moment that fly fishing took over and became the one pursuit that I was really passionate about. When I graduated, I got a job going down to guide in Argentina at a really prestigious lodge. I do my summers in Jackson Hole, and then my winters down in Argentina, and I would travel and do various things in the spring and the fall. You know, in guiding in Tierra del Fuego, you know, the lodge I worked at was called Caltop, and it was named one of the best fishing lodges in the world. And so we had a bunch of incredible people roll through there, and one of those really changed my life, and that was Bill Ackman, who runs a hedge fund named Pershing Square, and he came down there for his first fly fishing experience, and I was his guide. And, you know, I guided him to trout, and at the end of the week, he offered me a job to come, you know, be an analyst at his firm. As a guide, people often, you know, make these offers of, oh yeah, come, do this, do that, and you kind of blow it off because you never really know how sincere it was. And so at the end of the week, when Bill asked me to come work for him, I didn't really take it very seriously. But when I got back to Wyoming a few months later, there was a box in my house full of books and a letter. And it was basically, you know, read these books and give me a call. So I spent that summer guiding during the day, kind of reading finance at night, you know, trying to decide what my future was going to be, and ultimately made the decision to move to New York. New York City was a crazy experience for me. Like, I'd never visited the city, much less lived anywhere like that. So I was amazed with kind of the energy and the passion. And, you know, at the same time, it was really hard. Like, I can remember, you know, going and sleeping on the roof of my building at times just to, you know, get a break and be outside a little bit. So after a couple years at Pershing, it was kind of time to move forward. And, you know, the right path at that time was to go to business school. That application process forced me to be very introspective. You know, that idea of looking and defining who you want to be is what pushed me to make the decision to leave New York and get back in the outdoors. You know, at the time, it was a really scary decision. When I told Bill that I didn't want to go to business school, I really had kind of stopped my thought process there, and he pushed me to say, well, what do you want to do? I was really looking for just an investment to be in the fishing space that was like a legitimate business. One of my favorite places to go that really didn't have a great density of fishing lodges was the Bahamas. And the great thing about the Bahamas is when you fish the ocean, you don't have to own a huge piece of land. You just need to be in the right spot. So I found the perfect spot in the Bahamas to build a lodge. You know, I moved over there to get things off the ground and was managing this construction project. And we had lots of hiccups along the way, but I had a major one that almost derailed the entire project in that I got kidnapped, you know, a couple months into it, but I got away. I'm the only one who's ever been kidnapped on Abaco, so it's not like that's a normal thing in the Bahamas. They ended up catching him a couple months later, committing some other armed robbery on another island, and he's been in jail ever since. I was pretty shaken, so I left the island. Didn't know what I was going to do. It's easy to be ruined, right? It's easy just to let things like that change you for the worse and just lock yourself up. And, you know, I'm just not one of those people. So I ended up moving back and finishing the project.
What came from that was Abaco Lodge, which now is one of the better known and better run lodges in the Bahamas. And it really helped put me on an even different trajectory as the lodge got written about and people came in and out. It helped me segue into this next phase of my career. You know, I really, from that, you know, created this kind of perfect life and perfect career where I make a living traveling and fishing. I really couldn't imagine doing anything different. When you get a degree of success in life, you know, often the next step is giving back. I helped create a foundation called IndieFly, and our mission is to help indigenous communities use their resource to build fishing lodges where they can benefit economically. Of everything I do, that's my favorite, right? I mean, as I look towards the future now, what I really hope will happen is IndieFly will continue to grow and I can continue to spend more and more time doing projects like that.